You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. So we're now going to be talking on the telephone all about the Kent, Surrey and Sussex Air Ambulance. I'm going to be talking to Jill. Firstly, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I was hoping before we start, if you could just introduce yourself and what your role is within the air ambulance.
Okay, my name's Jill Hunt. I'm Director of Communications for the charity, so my job is very much about sort of raising awareness and profile of the charity, but also I have the lovely job of meeting some of the patients that we airlift, people that were in a very different situation when we first went to them, who actually want to come back to say thank you, to meet the crew, and just generally find out more about the service. And a lot of those patients do go on to do fundraising for us, or in some cases volunteer for us. So that's a very lovely part of my job.
Now, I know you want to talk a little bit about how you more or less bring A&E to the scene.
Yes, absolutely. I think, a lot of people don't realise the amount of interventions that we can actually take directly to the patient. So effectively taking the emergency department to the patient. The type of things that obviously that are normally done in a hospital, in the emergency department of a hospital, we can usually do at the scene. So that will include things like anaesthesia, taking over the patient's breathing, surgical procedures at the scene, and obviously blood transfusions as well, which is a very important part of what we do.
Now, I also understand, and this was quite interesting because I didn't realise this, that you're the only air ambulance in the country to fly 24 hours a day.
Yes, that's right. Up until about 3 or 4 years ago, the Civil Aviation Authority, who we fly under the regulations of, didn't allow air ambulances in this country to fly during the hours of darkness. They actually sort of adhered then to the European regulations, EASA, which did allow helicopters or air ambulances in other countries to fly through the night. So we knew this was coming, and we did an awful lot of work to look at sort of viability, to look at safety, which is absolutely paramount, and obviously to look at, whether we could actually afford to do that. So it took us, probably 2 to 3 years to actually sort of look at those things before we actually started our first night flight in September 2013. We are, in fact, still the only air ambulance in the country to operate by air 24 hours a day, although there are some air ambulances that are looking at sort of extending the hours that they do fly into the hours of darkness. But currently we're the only one that actually does it all day and all night. So it's quite an infrastructure to upkeep, I'll imagine. It is. I mean, it put our costs up immediately by over £1 million, just to, have that night cover as well as the day cover as well. We had to employ more doctors, more paramedics, more pilots. Obviously, actually operating through the night, there was more cost involved in doing that. There's more fuel costs, whatever. So, our costs did go up considerably. But we actually go to between 1 and 2 missions on average every night. So we knew that there was a need for the type of skills that we can take to the scene during the night as well as during the daytime. And I think the figures, we've been flying for 2 years now at night, and I think the figures that we've actually come up with actually prove that there is a need for an air ambulance at night, and we can make a difference. Now, you talked a little bit about how you bring A&E to the scene. Do you actually, or are you able to do blood transfusions at the scene as well? Yes, we are. In the same year that we started night flying, earlier on in that year, we started carrying blood on our helicopters. We worked with 2 other charities. We worked with SERV, which is served by emergency rider volunteers, who actually deliver the blood to our bases and then return the unused blood to the hospitals. And we also worked with the Henry Surtees Foundation, who very kindly gave us the equipment that we needed to be able to keep the blood at the optimum temperature of 2 to 4 degrees. And then a piece of equipment that warms the blood so that when we put it into the patient, it's given to them at about body temperature of about 37 degrees. So, it was really the collaboration of these 3 charities, ourselves and 2 others, that enabled us to be able to carry blood on board the helicopters. So we carry O-negative blood group, which is a universal blood group and can be given to anybody, whatever their blood type. So we actually use that on board the helicopters, and we do that on average about 7 times a month. We've also recently started giving people plasma as well, because the blood that we give is pure blood, it's red blood cells, which is great because we can actually give people blood when they're losing blood heavily, and it is very much a matter of life or death. But by giving them plasma, we can also help to clot the blood, and that again makes a massive difference. So, what we're able to do for those patients who would otherwise have to wait to get to hospital before they get the blood is to give them the blood at the scene when they really need it.
Now, the air ambulance is almost entirely supported by donations. I know you wanted to talk a bit more about that, I think.
Yes, it is. It costs us in excess of £6.5 million a year to fund the service 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So it's a great deal of money to be able to raise to run the charity. But we're very lucky that a lot of people do see the need for an air ambulance, and people across Kent, Surrey, and Sussex do an amazing job of fundraising for us. So they'll do things like marathons, they'll do all sorts of events for us. We'll do collections. You'll quite often see us in stores doing collections. At the moment, because it's our 25th anniversary, we're also raffling a car. So somebody at the end of this year, December the 15th, is going to be the winner of a £15,500 brand new Mini. And so we're taking the car around to sort of various places across the whole region. And people are buying raffle tickets for just £5 with a chance to win a £15,500 car. So, all of that actually goes to help. And of course, our lottery is a massive help to raise funds for us. It actually gives us a very significant, amount of money during the course of the year. But we do need to continue to sort of keep raising that money. So it's not something you can sit back in your laurels and just expect the money to come in, which is why we tell the story about the air ambulance. It's why we tell the story about the patients that we airlift and the people that we actually go to and the difference that we really do make.
Now, you cover Kent, Surrey and Sussex now, and I understand that's with 2 helicopters. That's a massive area.
It is. It is a huge area. It's 3.5 million square feet, and it is a big area for us to be able to cover. We have 2 helicopters. We have a helicopter at Marden in Kent, and we also have another helicopter at Red Hill in Surrey. And between the 2 of them, they actually cover that area, which is about 4.5 million people. So it's a lot of people. So over an average of 24 hours, we would go to between 5 and 7 people. But these people are the people who are the most seriously ill or injured people, the people where we can actually make a difference by taking the skills of a specialist doctor and critical care paramedic team to the scene and be able to sort of help them. And it's a wide range of incidents that we attend. So about 40 to 43% of them are road traffic collisions, which obviously you would expect. But we also go to a large number of falls from quite a height, accidental injuries, industrial and sporting injuries, stabbings, sadly, medical emergencies, and many, many others. So we can be there for those people that really need it. And that's particularly important in areas of inaccessibility. And obviously the Isle of Sheppey is an area which, is quite a distance, if you like, from most of the mainland hospitals. So, it is particularly crucial that we are there for those people.
Now, I know you've got a fair amount of volunteers. Well, I understand that you're looking for volunteers, especially on the Isle of Sheppey.
We are, that's right. We have something like 200 volunteers across the whole region, so that's across the whole of Kent, Surrey and Sussex. And they do an incredible job for us. They provide invaluable support for the charity. They do things like collections, they go to events for us, they do talks and check presentations, administration work in our offices, they place collection boxes and empty them for us. So they do lots and lots of different things. And they can give us either just a few hours a week or a few hours a month, whatever really suits them. But it's a great way of those volunteers being able to not only support a charity like ours, which does help to save lives, but it's a great way of being able to get out and meet people and see people. It's a good social life, if you like, for them. And if people are looking for work, it's a really good opportunity for work experience too. So, it gets them back into the workplace and actually working. At the moment, we don't have volunteers on the Isle of Sheppey, and obviously a lot of people on the island of Sheppey do support the charity. So we'd very much like to encourage people to sort of try and volunteer, if you like, as I say, for however much time they've got, to sort of help the charity, but also, for them to be able to get out and meet people. We give full training, and we would support them fully. So anybody that's actually interested, please get in touch with us, have a chat, see if it's the sort of thing that you'd be interested in, but we'd welcome sort of volunteers from the Isle of Sheppey.
How would they get in contact with you?
Right, well, they can either go to our website, which is www.kssambulance.org.uk, and then just sort of follow the links through, and it will tell you a bit more about volunteering. Or they can give us a call. If they ring on 01622 833 833, we can put through to somebody who can actually talk to them about the opportunities in volunteering. And it might be that those people prefer to just go out to events, or they just prefer to stay in the office and do administration, or they might prefer to do talk subject presentations. Whatever they want to do, we'll help them and we'll support them all the way, and we'll be very grateful for their help.
So, are there any future plans?
Yes, there are. I mean, we're continually looking at ways in which we can develop the service. It's very much patient-focused, so we're looking at how we can help people even more in so many different ways. So there are always future plans actually going on so that we can further improve the treatment that we give to our patients, the way in which we carry out our service and the procedures that we do. So people will have seen that we've just put in planning permissions for a single base operation, which obviously won't be happening for another year or two. But everything is there to try and improve what we're already doing. It's something which we feel is really important. Everything is research-driven. Things like the night flying, putting blood on board the helicopters, all of those things are research-driven. And they're really so that we can be totally patient-focused and we can give the best possible service that we can to our patients so they get the best possible outcome from anything which we do to help them.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to our listeners.
Okay, that's lovely. Thank you very much.